The time is now 7 o'clock, and it is time for the Monday, May 21st, 2018 regular council meeting. Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Here.
Alderman Villalobos.
Present.
Alderman Newsome.
Present.
Alderman Tempest.
Present.
Alderman May.
Present.
Alderman Valco.
Present.
Alderman Taylor.
Present.
Alderman Bolton.
Present.
Alderman Seeger.
Present.
Mayor Cunningham.
And present. I'm going to ask Troop 609, please come out front. They're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance immediately following. Come on up, guys. This is, some of them are doing a badge tonight, correct?
Yes.
All right.
In the community center.
Okay, right there, gentlemen. All right. In here to do invocation is Bishop Sadiq Cruz of Camino El Celio Church Ministry of Transformation, better known as St. Paul Baptist Church. Please, all rise.
Heavenly Father, I ask you in this day, a special day for every one of us, I ask you to bless in this place. Bless every one of these leaders, every one of these authorities, because you call us to pray for the authorities, because the authorities are always under attack from the enemy. And I ask you, Lord, to take care of each one of these men and these ladies that are working on the city of Waukegan, for the city of Waukegan, for the people of Waukegan. And I ask you, Lord, to lead them in their minds and do not allow nothing but good things to come through their minds to take care of every need, every problems, every situation, a special situation like are happening in all these other cities. 10 people was killed, 10 kids was killed not long ago, yesterday, 2 days ago. Everywhere in this nation is look like it's under attack by the enemy of the souls. And in the name of Jesus, I will ask you to protect the city of Waukegan of this type of attack from the enemy, and also give the authorities of the city to be working a plan to protect our family, our kids, our wives, and all the people that are working in the school as teachers. And in the name of Jesus Christ, I put the city of Waukegan under cover from this moment up to the end of the world. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord.
Turn to the flag, turn the flag, gentlemen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, guys. The mayor's, again, thank everyone for coming tonight. I'd like to send our condolences. City of Waukegan, I'd like to send this condolences and staff to the families and friends of Ms. Jamie O'Mara, former president of Main Street. She is also volunteer as part of our comprehensive plan committee member, and she's very involved in the St. Anastasia family, from the school to the church and so on. Mr. Thomas Briscoe, lawyer and a 7th Ward resident, Mr. Briscoe is well known throughout the county and has been a part of the Waukegan family for a long time. Pastor Jimmy Johnson, we ask that you keep him in our prayers as he had lost his son, and as we speak today is on his way to Croatia for the services for safe travel there and back home to the States. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Lambda Nu Omega Chapter, since 2015 has revitalized playgrounds at Carmen Buckner Elementary School, Clearview, and Community Action Partnership. All are located in the city of Waukegan. Revitalizing these sites consists of members and community volunteers, sweeping, removing trash and debris, adding fresh paint to playground equipment, and donating playground toys. This year, Alpha Kappa Alpha revitalized the playground at North Elementary School this past Saturday, May 19th. And I want to take this moment to acknowledge the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Lambda Nu Omega Chapter, and a big thank you for their service. Madam, where's the president? I think I see her. If you notice, they started at Carmen Buckner first. That was my elementary school, so thank you for that one. Boater Safety Week. In recognition of National Safe Boating Week, I want to recognize the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary, who are selfless in their care for our harbor and boating community. In cooperation with our fire department, special teams, harbor, they do a great job. Thank you too. Recycling for the third time. And I'm probably going to say this over and over again. I want to remind residents that you can recycle tires, electronics at the Public Works facility located at 1700 Macquarie Road from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And all tires, they must be off the rim. Correct, Mr. Hewitt? The list of recyclable items are available online and on the city's website. In a special note, please do not leave these items on the parkway. Military Appreciation Day will be Sunday, May 27th at the Steiner Pavilion, starting at 11 a.m. The event will include the Waukegan High School Junior ROTC, live music, and more. All are welcome. Memorial Day Parade. Waukegan's Memorial Day Parade will step off at the corner of Grand Avenue and Genesee Street on Monday, May 28th at 10:30 a.m. A ceremony at Veterans Plaza at the corner of Washington and West Streets will immediately follow the parade. Summer concerts at the library. The Waukegan Public Library will host free Friday concerts at noon through the end of August. Their first concert is Friday, June 1st, with Waukegans. You won't be out there in January, will you? June 1st with Waukegan's own Ivy Ford and Miss Kilkelly, who attends just about every Friday at noon. Janet, June 1st is the first one.
Thank you.
The Waukegan Park District's 19th annual Ray Bradbury Dandelion Wine Fine Arts Musical Festival is Saturday, June the 2nd from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Bowen Park. They'll include live performances, arts, and family activities. They do a great job with that one, Janet and Chief. Grand Avenue Cleanup. The Waukegan Community Church is hosting a Grand Avenue Cleanup on Saturday, June the 2nd, starting at 8 a.m. Thank you in advance to the volunteers and all who beautify the city of Waukegan. Genesee Theater, please check the Genesee Theater's website for tickets to upcoming shows. Real quick, May 25th, I saw it on the kiosk. My lookalike, Mr. Wayne Brady, is going to be on the 25th. The reason I say that because I'm always asked, don't you know who you look like? And I just say Wayne Brady. So Wayne Brady was that one. I also got stopped on Saturday. I was out right in front, and someone asked me, was I Wayne Brady? I don't know if I truly look like the man, but hey, I wish I had his talent. Next, we're going to have 3 staff members come up. The first will be Ms. Noelle Lippert-Kitchener will be coming up talking about our opportunity zones. Noelle?
Thank you. I love bringing you good news. So Opportunity Zones is a national program. It was created by the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in December of 2017. It's administered by the U.S. Treasury and the IRS. Governor Rauner was able to select 25% of the qualified census tracts in Illinois for inclusion. The city of Waukegan submitted an application to the governor on behalf of North Chicago, Waukegan, Beach Park, and Zion for approximately 30 census tracts for a multi-jurisdictional contiguous area, of which 20 of those tracts were in Waukegan. 5 census tracts in Lake County were designated by the governor, 1 each in Zion and North Chicago, and 3 tracts in Waukegan. The opportunity zones are designed to spur economic development by providing tax benefits to investors in order to incentivize their investment, bringing private money in for investment. The Treasury and IRS are still working on their rulemaking, so we'll learn more about how it all works going forward. But it's a very positive thing, and the Treasury is expecting it to be a one-time designation for a 10-year program. So we were lucky to get it in this round.
Okay, any questions from the alderman? Thank you, Noelle. Appreciate it. Next, we're going to ask Chief Wallace and Lieutenant Beach to come up and give us kind of a little report on cop on the rooftop. All right. Chief, Lieutenant. Oh, got some goodies.
Please, Rob, go ahead. So on Friday the 18th, we did our, I want to say it's our 3rd annual copper rooftop that we participate in. It's a fundraiser that we do every year where our officers will go up on the rooftop and try to raise money for Illinois Special Olympics, or Special Olympics Illinois. This year we raised in 3 locations at Washington West, Washington and Green Bay and Fountain Square. We were able to raise $4,700 at those 3 locations due to the generosity of all the citizens of Waukegan. We have a few more things that we are still giving out and having for an opportunity for sale to raise money. We've got mugs that you get through Dunkin' Donuts or get through us, and then get you a free cup of coffee with that. We also have a few shirts that we have that we are selling for $20 and raising money for Special Olympics Illinois, which I think are pretty great shirts, and a few hats as well. Our goal is to raise $15,000 by the end of this year to be able to show our support for a very worthwhile cause.
Thank you. Anything else?
4,700 total.
So just to say thank you to everybody that frequented the Dunkin' Donuts, and also to thank Dunkin' Donuts. This year we raised $4,700, so worked out very good so far.
And this was a national campaign. We're part of that national campaign. Is that correct?
That's correct. And unlike some other jurisdictions, we were actually on the roofs.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Oh, goodness. All right. Next coming up is our Fire Chief, Chief Bridges. Step on up. He had some things to say. Hope are all of them getting something?
I think so.
It's going to be a big
All right.
picture.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. You know, whenever I have an opportunity to speak on this city that I love or this fire department that I love, I'm going to take full advantage of it because Waukegan, you truly have to know how awesome these guys are. And I'm a little bit disappointed because I won't be the one up here speaking, but these guys, just the way they train, the way they're dedicated to this job, and our supporting staff must be recognized. So please allow me to introduce our medical director and our medical officer, Battalion Chief Lyons and Lieutenant Konski.
members of the council, thank you for allowing us a couple minutes here to highlight a couple of events that occurred within our city that exemplify the exceptional quality and dedication that are presented by the members of the Waukegan Fire Department.
Hi, everyone. I'm just going to touch on a couple of initiatives that we have going on at the department, some things that we're doing. We're always trying to work to improve at what we do, and one of the first things that I'm going to touch on is Pit Crew CPR, which is something that we've worked off of a national model that has a coordinated effort for code events. So when we have people that could possibly not breathing, the steps that we go through to make it even more rapid and more successful. Something that we've been working on, something that we continue to work on, and something that we're really looking to kind of lead the way with around our system. Another thing that we're going to kind of talk about tonight is CPR and AED use, and I have a couple great examples of that today, and I think that really what I want you to get out of it is how important knowing CPR is. We have our CPR educator here today too. Firefighter Moss is here, so she coordinates our CPR program, and all I can tell you is that those efforts can make a big difference. Knowing CPR, we can only do so much because there's a big time lag in us getting there. And what's really important is that our community members know CPR and are able to deliver CPR before we get there, because the statistics show that the success rate goes up drastically with that happening prior to us arriving. And AED use as well, which we have one right outside of the city council chambers here. Devices like that, again, really up the chances of successful outcomes, and that's what we're pushing for. So we'll talk about a couple events that we had and kind of point some of those things out for you tonight. So thank you.
For the first item that we'd like to address, the first call, if I could have the following individuals please come up. Firefighter Beth Moss, Firefighter Alden Ross, Firefighter Jacob Mount, Firefighter Tom Clausen, Lieutenant Ken Mayfield, Firefighter Mark Kohler, and Police Officer Donald Paulson. We were unable to have two other firefighters that were on this call also that weren't able to make it here tonight. Before I start off and before we talk about these two calls, what's important is that the fire department, we have a mission statement, and that mission statement is with honor, dedication, and pride. It shall be the mission of the Waukegan Fire Department to provide emergency response, education, prevention, and excellent quality service to the community we serve and to those who call upon us. And I think that the two calls that we're talking about tonight are good examples of that mission statement in action. The first call we'd like to highlight was a call that was responded to by B-Shift personnel, and these are the members that are standing in front of you. It was a call for a motor vehicle accident in an extremely busy intersection in town. The Waukegan Police Department officers on routine patrol were the first on the scene and found one of the drivers was in cardiac arrest. Officer Donnie Paulson, realizing the driver was in cardiac arrest, started cardiopulmonary resuscitation on the victim prior to the arrival of responding paramedics. While it is recognized that Officer Paulson's primary function is scene control, safety, and accident investigation, the Waukegan Fire Department would like to commend him on recognizing the patient's life-threatening condition and initiating vital basic care prior to the Waukegan Fire Department's arrival. Rescue 1 and Engine 1 arrived and initiated advanced life support care on the patient in cardiac arrest. This initial care was provided in the roadway, which can be a hazardous and distracting environment. The firefighter paramedics worked through their protocols in a coordinated fashion and loaded the patient for transport. Also on the call was Truck 1 and Battalion 1. They were utilized to provide scene safety and to assist in assessing the other motorists involved in the accident. This allowed the initial crews to focus on their efforts on the patient needing their full and undivided attention. I'd like to thank Officer Donald Paulson for his dedication to the lives and well-being of our citizens and community, and for his quick action in identifying and providing basic life-saving measures to the motorist in need. Through a combination of quality CPR, advanced interventions, and medication therapy, the patient regained spontaneous circulation prior to being transported to the hospital. And this is an incredible and excellent example of the team effort by the dedicated group of professionals that serve our community
each and every day. We'd like to thank you all for your efforts.
Hey, you guys can stay up. You stay up. Just slide down. Just slide down.
And I'd like to introduce our second group. Our second crew from the other call that we'd like to highlight today, and that's going to be Battalion Chief Stickles, Lieutenant Davis, Firefighter O'Lear, Firefighter Barbosa, Firefighter Stink Vicious, who cannot be with us tonight, and Firefighter Ugalde, who also cannot be with us tonight. Firefighter Stink Vicious is taking a state test tonight, so he's not able to make it, and I just want to touch on George Ugalde. He's actually a flight medic, and he's actually on that apparatus, say he's on at flight, so he's unable to make it. So the rest of you, thank you for coming tonight. So the call that we want to talk about that they were involved in, and I'm going to brag on these guys a little bit, and I'm going to brag on the guys that we have, and Beth over here too, that we have. The call that they had, great job, and I'm proud to work with all of you. And I've worked with Donnie Paulson for a long time. We've been on a lot of calls together, and I can say he's always been dependable and a help to me many, many times over. So thank you, Donnie, and we appreciate your help on that call. And second call that we want to touch on, and who I'm going to brag on a little bit here, is Battalion Chief Stickles, even though he told me not to. I'm going to get yelled at after this, but Battalion Chief Stickles was actually on his way home from work. He was done. He works a day's administrative position, and he was on his way home, had his radio on still, and heard a call come in for somebody not breathing. And he decided to divert from going home and go on this call. That is very out of the ordinary for our personnel that are not assigned to rigs. So he's in a personal vehicle, and I want to just talk about something that he asked me prior to this happening, and I really want to compliment him on his foresight on this. He came to me months earlier and said, hey Ryan, I really want an AED in my car. In case something happens, I want to be able to use it. And I give him a lot of credit for that. We got an AED for him, positioned it in his vehicle, and he was able to go to that call and initiate use of an AED and CPR shortly prior to the arrival of the ambulance and the engine and the additional personnel. That's a hard thing to do, to show up at a call like that by yourself with limited equipment and provide care. So I could compliment him on doing that. I think that we know that he would do that, but I just want to highlight to you that these are the things that happen, and I appreciate that. The call that they had was for someone not breathing. He initiated care. Our crews got there after that, and were able to, what BC Stickles describes as run a very coordinated effort on a unresponsive, not breathing person, run through all of our code event and things like we'd like to, modeling that pit crew, and had also a successful outcome with spontaneous circulation again. And these are things that really pay off, and I just want to highlight again how important that CPR is, because even an additional minute or 2 minutes, if that's not happening before we get there, this can be the difference in an outcome. So a lot of credit to BC Stickles for doing that, and then also the incoming crew. Great effort to take it the step further that it needed to go by providing the additional care that was needed. So those are two calls that we really want to hit on tonight, so thank you for your time and letting us acknowledge those, and we've got a couple recognitions for them as well. Thank you. And I just wanted to kind of end here. We have one more person to recognize, and before I do, I just want to hit on that this is EMS week, which means it's kind of a recognition week for EMS personnel and what they do. And I recognize what they do. And the stuff that we're talking about tonight, to be honest with you, we do this stuff pretty much daily. So we have people that are out there doing great work like this daily. These are just a couple of recent calls we want to highlight their efforts. The last person that we're going to recognize tonight, certainly not least, is Mary O'Connor. So Mary, where are you at? Okay, good, she didn't go home. Come on up, Mary. So now I'm going to brag on Mary O'Connor. And Mary O'Connor does not work for the fire department. She works for Vista Health System. She's leaving that position, and she is our EMS educator. So for years and years, Mary's told us how to do things the right way. And I appreciate Mary, and I think all of our guys really appreciate Mary. And she's been doing this on and off as an EMS educator for the past 20 years. She's put a lot of time into making us better paramedics, and we're really going to miss her. We're sad to see her go. She's helped some of our guys as their first exposure into EMS is starting as EMT basic. So we really appreciate you, Mary. We got you a plaque here. We wish you well in everything you do, Mary, so good luck to you. Thank you.
Congratulations to you.
Would you like to say a few words before your picture and the mayor?
Sure, I think that's okay. I don't usually talk into microphones because I don't really have an inside voice. So here we go. I just want to tell you how proud I am of all these guys. I was in the military for a long time, so I've been around the world and see how EMS works in other countries. I've been in other states and other places, so I kind of see the big picture. I am so impressed with this group and the other two shifts of EMS, paramedics, EMT basics, and off they go around. No. Because you know what? They have passion, they have enthusiasm. They want to do better. They want to get it down right. So maybe it's not always perfect. Off to save them. So I just want the people of Waukegan to know how lucky you are. And it might not seem like that on every day, but compared to a lot of places in the world, when you call 911, it's kind of like the best is coming to your house. So I encourage you to learn CPR. Don't be afraid to give it a try. It really does help the outcome of the patient. We watch how many patients who go into arrest go home from the hospital alive and with their brains intact. And if you can start CPR, if your loved ones can start it, that's better for everybody. Thank you, everybody.
All right, where we at?
Come on, Mary.
Where are we going?
In the middle there. There you go. Well, that's a beautiful name. It's my mom's name.
Yes, it is. Here we
Yes,
go.
it is. Come right here. You got us all? There's the Cyrus door. Are we good?
We're good.
Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Mayor, just a couple of,
Sure.
on a personal note, I'm forever grateful to the Waukegan Fire Department. I had a heart attack in 2010 at Waukegan High School. They came and got me, and needless to say, I'm still here. So I am forever grateful to the Waukegan Fire Department.
Yeah, man, it is. All right, motion by Alderman Newsom, second by Alderman Tempest to approve regular meeting minutes from May 7th, 2018. Are any questions to the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's passed and carried. catch up here. All right, audience sound. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. You have 3 minutes, and we're going to start with Jim Hellquist.
Oh, Jim. My boatman.
I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Jim Hellquist. I'm a lifelong boater in Waukegan. Had a boat down here for 41 years. I was born and raised on Porter Street, and my dad was a fireman here in the city of Waukegan. And as a result of living here and being born here and raised boating, I just want to bring your attention to that seal up there. That seal represents the city of Waukegan. You got a beautiful jewel down here in the harbor. You got a lot of us who are boaters. We support, we go all over the lake, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, Lake Superior. We talk about Waukegan as a great place to put a boat. So what I'd like to encourage this board, or this group of aldermen, is to acquaint yourself with the affidavits that we submitted some time back to the mayor and to the city council on a lot of our allegations as to what was going on at this Port Authority board. For a lot of people, they don't understand. We had a great relationship with Waukegan. They ran the harbor, that was our lease. Then the state came in with a legislative act that separated into the Port Authority that has the property down there and has the harbor and has the airport. And as a result, the city of Waukegan gets so many appointments. And the mayor has done a wonderful job working with us on trying to correct some of these problems, but we need some help down there. Because like our yacht club, Waukegan Yacht Club, we have 55 members who have slips down there. We have 18 members who still have boats in the city of Chicago. We got about 12 that are up in Winthrop Harbor. We want them all to come to Waukegan. And a reason some of them didn't come, because we constantly were given letters terminating our lease, kicking us out of the yacht club. And as a result, we had some terrible times. They raised our rent, even though we have a lease. They did other things to it. These were all executed in the affidavits that we gave to this group here. So take a look at it and familiarize yourself. The mayor's been wonderful in support for the harbor down there, and he essentially told a bunch of us we're his ambassadors, and we're trying to sell Waukegan as a destination. So give us some help.
Thank you. Jose Guzman.
Good evening. I guess most of you guys know me, but I guess I'll go on. I lived here in Waukegan 42 years. Born and raised here. I was born in Victory Memorial Hospital. Now I live in the second ward. I lived in most of you guys' ward. I think for most of my life, I think I lived in the first ward, which I just met Dr. Bolton, Alderman. Very nice. So again, I'm here to follow up on the treatment by the Waukegan 4th District. I mean, it's been crazy because Dockside has been down there forever since most people were kids. I mean, I even got threatened to cut my lease after 35 years. I was like, whoa. That happened last year by a gentleman. Wasn't even a chairman. He was an acting chairman because the chairman took off, and the person I'm saying is Randy Podolsky. Multiple infractions, more than any other board member. You know, so, but anyway, I like Jim said, please come and take a look at our lakefront. This is our jewel, this is our present, this is for us. And follow up. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy Larson.
Hi, good evening. I'm specifically here, my name is Kathy Larson Sivia, and I'm representing Larson Marine Service here tonight. And I specifically came to the meeting tonight because it's my understanding that Randy Podolsky's term is up at the Waukegan Port District Board, and I came to ask the mayor and the council to please not re-elect Randy Podolsky onto the board. And I believe what Jim Hellquist was saying, I don't think he acknowledged that he's actually the Commodore of the Yacht Club, but the Yacht Club has had problems with Jim. They filed affidavits. Larson Marine has filed affidavits regarding the character and the ethics of Randy Podolsky specifically, and that is why I came, is to ask you not to reappoint Randy Podolsky when his term is over, which I believe is at the end of this month.
Thank you. Charles Rush.
My name is Charles Rush. I live at 1106 Sheridan Road, and it's maybe a minor complaint. I just noticed the sign behind me identifying the roads that are conditioned as from good to poor. I'm speaking for Stewart Avenue, which is a divided street. The curbs are all broken along the entire way, and no repair that I have seen go on there since I moved in 1913. Excuse me.
Sure, Charles. Go ahead, Charles.
I'm not there yet. Anyway, the only repair that has been accomplished on there is the painting at the Sheridan roadside, yellow, the curbs, yellow for the 4th of July event. Also on that street, there's been construction going on at 222 Stewart since that date, 2013, and it's not yet completed. The structure is very fine, 2x6 is 16 on center, but it seems to be taking the time. The sidewalk in front of that building was broken up to run sewer, and it's been in broken condition for 2 years. I don't know what would spur Public Works into fixing it, or is it the owner's responsibility? I'd like to see attention paid to that. And that's just about, that's all I have to say. I'm just speaking for the assessor on a complaint I had about my taxes. The assessor rated Stewart Avenue equal to both Douglas and Ridgeland down there, and it's far from it. Anyway, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. John Bartos.
Good evening, I'm John Bartosh. I live in the 9th Ward. I'm here to speak about the proposed bond purchase that will be voted on tonight. And I read through the capital improvement plan, and there were some things in there. By the way, in my background, I'm a project manager. I've worked large $30 to $50 million programs within the Defense Department. So as I looked through the capital improvement plan, I saw some things that concerned me, basically the manner in which things were budgeted. A lot of $1 million items in there. You pick an item, it appears that nobody really is sure what it's cost, so we'll put $1 million. Look at another item, we're not sure how much that costs, let's put $500,000 in. By the time this adds up, $1 million here, $1 million there, you're talking about a lot of money, and in this case, $527 million. So I've seen this, and my experience tells me there really hasn't been a bottom-up review of what the budget should be. So we end up with an expectation and a plan to purchase between now and 6 years from now, I believe, or 3 years from now, $131 million worth of bonds. And I look at that from a concern of what it's going to do to my property taxes. We've just been hit with a 4% or $1.5 million increase in taxes a few months ago. What assurance do I get that this plan isn't going to require you next year to come to me for another 4%? Or the year after that for another 4%? In the 9th Ward, I know a lot of people think we are a more affluent ward we can take the hits. But when we're paying $50,000 a year in property taxes, or in my case, somewhat less than that, but still in excess of 25, that's a big hit. And even in our neighborhood, that's something we have concerns about. So I urge you, at a minimum, to delay this vote, go back and do a zero start budget process. Start from zero. Don't base your budget increases on what was last year and what somebody wants for this year. Start at zero and make people justify what they need for each of their departments. My guess is you'll find something significantly less than $527 million in this plan. So that's the end of my comments. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Jack Dye.
Good evening. I want to say that we have a great fire and police departments. I've had positive interactions with both of them through the neighborhood policing watch and through the CERT program at the fire department. I'd like to echo the importance of learning CPR. I have a newborn baby at home, and that could be, hopefully it never is, but hopefully, if called upon, it's a life-saving skill. I really would hope all of you guys out there learn that. With all these truly great people and great programs, we deserve all the resources we can afford to give. We have to balance the future of those resources with the immediate expenditures to keep things moving. I hope we can find a strong balance between taxes, the bonds we're going to vote on tonight, and the economic development we need to move the city forward. I trust the aldermen have all done their homework and will take all the above into account when voting on the potential bond approval. I want to also say a few other quick things about some other positive news in Waukegan. My wife is a board member of the Three Brothers Theater, and they've had 2 consecutive weekends of sold-out shows to Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson, which is a great rock musical about our 7th president. And I would like to tell the city council and aldermen you are all personally invited to go. If you want to have a question on tickets, you can reach me or any one of the board members. threebrotherstheater.com is their website. Tickets are $20 for adults and $15 for senior citizens and students. And that's all I had today. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thank you. Margaret Krasko.
Good evening. Tonight, I just want to publicly thank Mr. Wayne Taylor for addressing last City Council meeting the topic of the property tax hike in the city of Waukegan. He was right on point, except for one thing that I'm going to address tonight. If you recall, a public hearing was held by the city of Waukegan, which I attended, in regards to the proposed levy of a 5% hike. The largest share of property taxes goes to our school districts on the average of 69%. Next, the second biggest chunk goes to the city of Waukegan, which collects approximately $33 million. According to a memo from the finance director, Tina, and I apologize if it's a short last name, Slominski, to the city council. Tina stated on numerous occasions that the increase would translate to only $14 for the owner of a $200 property. Really? Well, I got my property tax bill, and I live in a modest home, under $100,000, and my tax bill went up $300. Mayor, first of all, isn't Tina, as a department head, supposed to reside in the city of Waukegan? Second of all, well, she doesn't. Second of all, Mayor, did Tina set you up? Did Tina lie to you, to the council members, to every single taxpayer in the city of Waukegan? Mayor, therefore, in light of this scenario, I am requesting that you demand her resignation demand that she be fired, or maybe option number 3, arrested. On April 5th, I submitted a FOIA request in which I requested the instant message from Joan Westphal and Tina Zermiski, the finance person. Both responded that there was none. They had none, nothing. Could it possibly be that after she learned and was notified about my FOIA request asking for these documents, that instead, possibly, she deleted them? And then she requested her entire department to delete every single one of them.
Thank you, Ms. Carrasco.
I will be appealing to the AG. Thank you.
Brother Blanks.
Brother Blanks, Black Abolition Movement for the Mind. You know, first of all, I want to start out and commend and thank those who acknowledge Ms. Leslie on the last time she spoke, and First Ward Alderman. I think Ms. Newsom weighed in on the comments, and also, particularly, I really want to thank Alderman Villalobos, which personally came by the organization. He came there at about 3:30, and we talked, discussing issues of how things can get better for our youth. Not he was weighing on one end of the issue or the other, but he wanted to know personally what can we do to work together to make sure things move forward in the best interest of our citizens. So he came, of our youth. So we came there at about 3:30. By the time we left, I think it was about 6:30 or 6:45. So thank you for coming by and showing interest and at least acknowledging it. For the rest of you who didn't have anything to say, maybe you don't like me, maybe you don't like my approach towards issues, or maybe you've heard some of the innuendos out there about my affiliation with the Nation of Islam. Whatever your reasons are, whatever you may think towards me, I'm okay with that. You know, my shoulders is wide and my skin is thick. I can handle it. But when a grandmother come here and she show concern about not only her grandson, but other students, certainly many of you who are sitting here as, some of you sitting here as also not only as all the members, but educators, coaches, mothers, grandmothers. I just don't understand where would be the sensitivity or the lack of sensitivity that you could actually sit here and not say anything one way or the other. That, I really can't understand it. Think what you feel, what you want to say about me. But when you have a citizen grandmother come here, each and every one of you should have something to say. Well, hey, or if nothing more than, Miss Leslie, I don't know at this time, but let me check into it. But at least acknowledge this lady, or anybody, anyone that come up here. Every citizen that come here deserves that at your alderman's time. Some of you, I can expect that from. Mr. Marzio, you sat there, you've been on the board for a long time, and I remember when Paris Bankhead, from Paris Bankhead to Jeffrey Lewis, when these young people came here, you didn't have anything to say. So some of you are going to be who you are. But for those of you who are grandmothers and educators, surely you all should have the sensitivity to have something to say to acknowledge this grandmother or any grandmother or citizen that stepped to this mic and share their concerns. Particularly in the manner that she did it. I have had times I'll come here on my toes in anger. But I try a different approach because the people who come and represent.
Thank you, Brother Blanks.
I want to make sure they're represented right. And she represents
Thank you.
herself well.
Miss Leslie Henry.
Good afternoon, Mayor and the board. You know, I love my father. He was a Pentecostal minister. And he preached a sermon that said, it's the little foxes that destroy the vine. It's not those big things that come after you, it's those little foxes that tear the vine, that rip the vine up from the roots. And when I was here, I was a little bit discouraged because not one white alderman said anything about the children. And you know, when these children go out and they win games, it's the city's win. When they go out and somebody, you know, we got a big football star, a big basketball star, they're the city of Waukegan. When people come here, they don't come to look at the 9th Ward, or the 1st Ward, or the 6th Ward, or the 4th Ward. They come and they says all Waukegan. And I think these children belong to all of Waukegan. And I think all of Waukegan needs to be concerned what happens to them, because whether we believe it or not, they are the future of Waukegan. And this is the time when we can make a difference in their life. I'm going to age myself, but there was a song in the 70s called Family Affair. And it says, one child you love to learn, the other child loves to burn. Mom loves both of them. You know, so the city of Waukegan, yes, we do have children that are shining examples of what it's like to do everything right. But we also have students that may make a mistake. But the city of Waukegan should be responsive to both children. You know, and if we're going to pick one to want to brag on or to push up and then ignore the other one, we're doing ourselves a disservice. You know, we don't know at what time one of those kids that have taken the wrong path, that we decide to criminalize because of a fight, could one day rise to be mayor, could one day rise to be the first woman mayor. You know, we don't know what these children can do. But if we don't give them the chance, we'll never hear it. And I think that with the little foxes destroying the vine, when it becomes almost a racial divide as to who is concerned about these children, those are one of the foxes that destroy the vine. Because when those kids came and they were angry with each other, my grandson and I went to the restaurant where one of the adults that worked there came. They had a wonderful conversation. They had a wonderful conversation. They were talking. They were congenial to each other. You know, it was just a nice time. And I said, oh my goodness, I wouldn't even know that that kid was a gang member or affiliated with the gang based on the way that he talked there in front of me. You know, so I think that we cannot turn our backs on the Waukegan 11, because there's one time, there'll come a time when we need them to reach their hands out to us and to embrace us. And I think that as a city, this would be a time to come together, to lift these children up, and to say Waukegan is your home. We love both the good ones and the ones that are—
Thank you, Ms. Henry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ralph Peterson, Jr.
Yes, Mayor, I would like to start off with the May 11th front page article that was in the New Sun, where you stated you wanted to diversify the police and fire department. Mayor, you promoted all white males in the police department and fired many minorities, question mark. You also mentioned in the article that you wanted the Department of Justice to start mediating. But as an alderman, you were against it, and your reasons being is because it was former Mayor Motley's idea and not yours. Question mark, Mayor, I ask what's new? And I want everybody to understand it's of vital importance that Ralph Peterson does not give passes just because a person is black. That doesn't mean anything to me. Within a year, I view you have raised property taxes, sale taxes, the price of water, then you borrow millions, which means two things to me. It means kickbacks, and it means taxes will be raised again. Now, as I see how liquor licenses and gambling is being blanketed throughout the city. My thoughts are, this is not a city of destination, but has become a city feeding off the poor. And I have zero understanding of why you insist on giving liquor license a half a block away from Community Church on Grand and Pine. You know, that's the last thing that area needs. And lastly, I would like to say, and I scream this to the top of my lungs, the first ward is the poorest ward in the city. And the residents are baffled how a white Caucasian former Mayor Motley was willing to tear down and rebuild the projects, and then you take office and you trash the idea mainly because it wasn't yours. Mayor, the people in the First Ward deserve better, and they expected that when you took seat. And I'm getting tired of coming up here. All I simply ask you is do right, and I truly will back off and support you. And I also want you to know, and this is not an idle statement, we do have your replacement if you don't change. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Jack Greenberg.
Ralph, it was really nice seeing you and the wife yesterday. Awesome deal. Thank you. That's a good shot. Community service. That's a good shot right there, y'all. They missed it.
Mr. Mayor, council members, and audience, my name is Jack Greenberg. I live in the 6th Ward. I've lived here for 25 years. And yesterday was the final performance of the Waukegan Symphony Orchestra for the season. It also marked the retirement of longtime director Stephen Blackwelder. The program at the performance was called the Germanic Tradition. Truly great music was composed in Europe. It was a wonderful experience for those who attended. Mr. Blackwelder was honored with a plaque and appreciations of his work. And he said this, quote, "With the retirement of Cultural Arts Superintendent Claudia Freeman last year, and with new executive leadership at the Waukegan Park District, it seemed a natural time for me to consider my future with the orchestra." End quote. I anticipate and I hope new leadership at the Waukegan Park District will continue to foster the Waukegan Symphony Orchestra in their musical efforts. It was a wonderful show. I would like to hear music that expands the borders of the Germanic tradition. Newer music that can appeal to a younger and more diverse audience. And I foresee the next season, the Trapp Auditorium will be filled to capacity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, that concludes your audience time.
All right. All right. Number 4. Motion by Alderman Tempest, second by Alderman Villalobos, to ratify the appointment to the Waukegan Port District Board. Mr. Billy McCaffrey. Billy, please stand. Thank you. And Billy is owner of the Cuban Cigar. Correct, Billy?
Cuban Experience.
All right. An experience for cigars. And he's you've been sailboating. That's where you used to build them as well, correct, Billy?
That's correct. Pine Street.
On Pine Street. On Pine. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about the one on Pine, Billy. Yeah. So Billy's been around Waukegan, a former Waukegan police officer, correct?
Correct.
All right. Any questions for Billy? Alderman.
Great appointment.
Great appointment.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Velco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Motion's passed and carried. Congratulations, Billy. Thank you. Motion by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman Seeger, to confirm the appointment of Mr. Michael Protel as Building Commissioner for the City of Waukegan. Mike, come on up, Mike. Janet? You have your...
pass it?
Oh, okay, we're gonna vote first. Any questions to the motion?
Slow that walk.
No, you come on up. You come on up. We're fine. Come on up. Any questions? All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye. Motion's passed and carried. The city clerk will, because this is an officer of the city of Waukegan, he must be sworn in, and then I'll come and give him the handshake. All right? City clerk will swear our building commissioner. Come on up to the middle. Yeah.
Okay? Okay, raise your right hand. I, Michael Bertel,
I, Michael Bertel,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Illinois,
of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Building Commissioner
of Building Commissioner
for the City of Waukegan
for the City of Waukegan
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Come on up, White. There you go. You got it? All right. Congratulations, sir. Thank you. Well, around to get this from the building, come on up, you the appointment here. All right, sir. Item 5, capital improvement plan. Before, well, let's get a motion on the floor. Motion by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman Seeger. Are there any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
What's the motion?
Okay.
What is it?
Capital improvement plan, to approve the capital improvement plan.
Okay.
Well, you know what, there is nothing to, this is reports and communication, I apologize. All the aldermen have received a copy of this, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Clint Ferguson, can you, or is it Clint? Clint, you kind of want to give us a little small snippets of this, if, or, and Clint is with the state here, the engineering firm here.
I'll start off, it's an opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Clint Ferguson. I'm the Vice President of Infrastructure Engineering. We've been contracted with the City of Waukegan to provide city engineering services.
Yeah, dude, speak, yeah, speak.
Sorry about that. Usually don't have a problem with my voice carrying. But we're excited to work with the city. A little background on infrastructure. Manage an office of about 50 professionals that design, planning, construction management, program management throughout the city of Chicago area. Some of our background here is that we do a lot of capital improvement program management. We are the civil site program manager for the City of Chicago Public Schools. This year in 2018, through that program, we are managing, coordinating, and delivering about $15 million worth of capital improvements on civil site for the City of Chicago. Also for them, their Department of Transportation, we are the program manager for the capital improvement program for the automatic menu program, their in-house
streetscape, and concrete crews as well. So we do have quite a bit of experience with capital improvement programs. Our firm is 20 years old this year. This is my 11th year with the firm. And we just went through our own planning ourselves, and our mission is to transform, inspire, and enrich communities. And nothing does that more than a capital improvement plan and program. And although we're not contracted to write this program, it is a city program. Finance and Tina, along with Public Works, did a fantastic job putting this together. And what it is it's a capital improvement program that matches the long-term capital needs with the anticipated funding sources that we're talking about this evening, so the projects are properly planned and the funds can be expended efficiently. This is a 5-year plan. It covers the fiscal years 2018-19 through 2023. It is a total of $154 million in capital spending over those 5 years. Again, this is a framework and a planning tool. It is an overall framework, and each year the annual budget will be built and programmed and prioritized on an annual basis. This program is based on assessments that were completed in 2017. There were 3 of those. The first one was infrastructure, and that was performed by Robinson Engineering. That focused on water, stormwater, roadways, that includes pavement and signage. The second, bridges and structures, that was performed by Seorba Group. That includes 6 bridges and about 16 major culverts. And then a facilities assessment that was performed by RRP Inc. So this is based on those assessments, which did total over $500 million in needs. So there is a significant need. This is a wonderful program that does cover almost a third of those needs. So it is truly transformative and will enrich the community. Hopefully inspire the residents and inspire them to reinvest in the community themselves. Through those assessments, the capital improvement plan is broken up into 3 major spending buckets or groups. The first one is general infrastructure, facilities, and equipment. That is the largest grouping of $86 million. The second is water, sewer, and facilities and equipment. That is the second largest at $45 million. And then the third is bridges and large culverts at $23 million. The plan that you were given on page 3 kind of summarizes all of those, and then next to it has a table of the anticipated funding sources for those. The plan then walks through the 3 major buckets. Water is pages 4 through 7. That does anticipate funding in 3 $15 million tranches that are in 2018, 2020, and 2022. The summary of improvements is on page 6 of that plan, and it does include significant improvements to the water treatment plant, which is 90 years old, and also to the pumping stations that help get water to the other communities that Waukegan serves. So it's very significant. This money is anticipated to be paid back, the bonds, through water and sewer assessment fees, so it is not a tax increase. Infrastructure is the second segment. It's summarized in pages 8 through 12 of the report. This is funded through a series of 6 general obligation bonds. Has a peak annual obligation of debt service of about $12.4 million a year. It is summarized in page 10, and it does have significant improvements. We're talking about $35 million of roadway resurfacing, $10 million for sidewalks and ADA ramps alone. So it's significant improvements to the surface infrastructure of the city. The third segment is bridges and culverts. The city has 6 major bridges and 16 large culverts. Those are pages 13 and 14 of the report. And a majority of the funds for bridges is intended to come from federal grant programs. Those are 80-20 programs where 80% of the funds are paid for through a federal grant, and the city matches 20% of those. Currently, the plan is for the motor fuel tax allotment to cover those local matches of that 20%. So that is the program overview. If anybody has any questions, we'll do it.
Thank you, Clint. Did you have anything, Alderman Valco?
No, sir. Thank you, Clint, for your
Thank
time
you.
tonight.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Bolton to approve the treasurer's report. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is passed and carried. Judiciary Committee. Judiciary Chairman, Alderman May.
Thank you, Mayor. The committee met this evening. Our first item is a motion to approve as presented an ordinance addressing the use of drones, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman May, second by Alderman Villalobos. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Motion is passed and carried.
The next item is a motion to approve an ordinance authorizing the conveyance of certain real property to the contract buyer of North States Bank to foster redevelopment, and I so move.
A motion by Alderman May, second by Alderman Mozio. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Next item is a motion to approve an ordinance adopting zoning calendar number 2549, text amendment to zoning ordinance eliminating section 7.6 R1A single family residence district, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman motion by Alderman May, second by Alderman Valco. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
And the last item is a motion to approve an ordinance adopting zoning calendar number 2550, a map amendment rezoning of properties. See public content for full list of addresses, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman May, second by Alderman Villalobos. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passed and carried. Item 7, Alderman Taylor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to adopt ordinance 18-0- amending ordinance 17-0-50, an ordinance fixing the salaries and wages to be paid to management and non-union employees of the City of Waukegan, Illinois, effective May 1st, 2018, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Valco. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Motion is passed and carried. Finance Committee, item 8, Alderman Valco.
Thank you, sir. Item A motion to reappoint Daniels, Long, and Pincel LLC as City of Waukegan Corporation Counsel for the period of May 2018 to April 2019 for an annual amount of $445,200, funding from line item 100-102924437. Mayor and other aldermen, this is about a 2% increase. And it's in line with what we've been giving other employees, and sir, I so move.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsome. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Before I cast my vote, I just want to tell people know that my vote does not reflect the work that they have done at Daniels and so long. Like, the attorneys are doing a great job, but on a personal level, I just feel we're overpaying. And I had that conversation last year, and I voted no to this last year. I'm going to vote no again this year. Again, it's just the price seems too high to me, so no.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Item B, motion to renew the annual maintenance contract for Blackboard Connect for government under GSA contract number GS 35F0554, as in Mary, for an amount of $39,158, and funding from this line item is 555-915-924-438. Again, council members and people in the audience, what this is our reverse callback system. This is for emergencies, such as if we have a bad snowstorm or a tornado or something. It's also to alert the neighborhood of criminal activity. It's also, the aldermen use it sometimes for to notify the citizens of block parties. And what this is it's at $39,000 for reverse 911. It's well worth it. This is something that we do every year. And Mayor, I so move.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Bolton. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome. Aye. Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Item C is a motion to approve amended 2018 CDBG Annual Action Plan originally approved by the City Council on January 16th, 2018. All HUD grantees are required to submit to HUD an annual action plan detailing the use of Community Development Block Grant, otherwise known as CDBG, funds which provide a concise summary of actions and programs that will be used to address the priority needs of specific goals identified. The plan for 2018 was approved by City Council, excuse me. The plan for 2018 was approved by City Council on January 16, 2018, and they have received an additional allocation of $117,511, and I so move, sir.
A motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Seager. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Item D, and this is where we get into the interesting stuff here. So everybody listen closely, please. I probably should, thank you. Item D is a motion to approve an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $17,500,000 in general obligation bonds, Series 2018A, for the City of Waukegan, Lake County, Illinois, and for the levy of a direct annual tax sufficient to pay the principal and interest of the said bonds. The proceeds of the 2018 bonds will be used for financing the construction of improvements to the city streets. The city plans to abate the ad valorem tax levy for 2018 bonds with the home rules sales tax revenue. For those of you that have been coming to the City Council the last couple of years, you know we raised the sales tax twice by 1/4%. And the citizens in this council allowed us to do that if we vowed that we put it in a special fund and use it strictly for the roads. So this is what we're going to do. And Mayor, I so move.
Good motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsome. Any questions to the motion? Roll call.
Can I speak?
Alderman Taylor.
I'm going to talk a little bit about these bonds that I want to share my opinion with this, and this is not the opinion of the other aldermen, but this is just my opinion. I feel in this particular case, we're looking at taking $500 million in bonds over the next 5 years, of which we will do $150 million of improvements. That's 30%. That means 70% is not going to get done. Yet we will be taking on a lot of payments in here. Basically, over the length of these bonds, we're going to be paying $65 million in interest. I've put together a chart that I used for myself. This is not in the plan itself, but this will show you how these bonds compound on each other over the years. My concern is that we're going to get 30% of the work done, and we're going to be more in debt than we are right now. And those that don't get anything done, you won't get it done for 20 years after that. So I'm concerned about, this is the way we've always done things, and I think it's time that we try something different. In the capital improvements line item on our budget, we show 0. We need to start putting money into those funds, and that's directly what it's used for. Same thing with water. We make money off of our water plant, but we have not reinvested in it. And we need to start going back and doing that. So that's a concern for me. I don't, you know, I think what residents need to understand, we've had 10 years of economic success right now. If you read Forbes magazine this week or the Bloomberg report, they're not predicting that in 5 more years. So that will be at the height of when these bonds are due. We've all talked up here about not wanting to do layoffs. What do you do when you're in debt? You either have to cut what you're spending, or you don't have the money to do it. And that's what I'm afraid of, is that we're going to end up in the same boat that we are right now. So for me, I would rather us take the money that we've used in asking for you to have a sales tax increase, asking you to contribute to the water and sewer fund, that we put that money directly into that. We take smaller steps, not take on such a big bite of chewing all these projects at one time, doing it slowly, but building up. And as this debt, as the bonds that we have currently will start to come down, then we use that difference and change it from the corporate levy to, or from the bond levy to the corporate levy. So that's just my personal opinion. As a leader in this city, I try and work really hard to think outside the box and not do the same thing. So that's my opinion. I want to inform my residents that that's how I feel about it. It's not that I don't want capital improvements. I just feel that there's a different way to go about it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
No.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Aye.
I'm sorry. Alderman Taylor.
No.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
This is the direct.
One second.
Item E. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, 1 second, please. Thank you. Item E, a motion to approve an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $26 million of general obligation bond series 2018 Bs and boy of the city of Waukegan, Lake County, Illinois, for the levy of a direct annual tax sufficient to pay for the principal and interest on the said bonds. The proceeds of the 2018 bonds will be used for financing improvements to the city streets, the alleys, sidewalks, parking lots, facility, and the cemetery, as well as to make equipment and vehicle purchases. And I so move, sir.
I'm sorry, Mayor, can I make one more statement?
But let's get a motion on the floor. Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Bolton. Questions to the motion, Alderman Taylor.
This bond is related to, or in a sense, the collateral is your property taxes. In the next year, in order to handle this, we will have to raise $1.7 million in revenue to pay that difference. Because it's backed with the property tax, and because I asked in the Finance Committee meeting and no other resource was given to me, this will be affected by your property taxes. We raised this year, when we raised our tax levy, we raised $1.5 million. This is $1.7 million. So I would assume that you're going to have a property tax increase just for this alone, equivalent to what a little bit more than what you had this year. The other thing that I am concerned about in all of these bonds that I did not mention is we haven't taken anything into emergencies like litigations that come up. When I asked these questions in Finance Committee, I was told, well, we're a home rule city. We can bond as much as we want to bond. Okay, but that's like you getting an unlimited amount on your credit card. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So that's why I feel the way that I do on this. And again, I will answer any residents' questions after the fact, but I want you to understand what my concern is here. Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to comment as well.
Alderman May.
Thank you. I just want to share my thoughts on this bond. This piece, the 2018B, is to me the most frightening of the bonds because it is directly going to be paid through your real estate taxes. And my phone was ringing off the hook after tax bills came out this year. So when the council votes to approve this bond, you also should be expected to approve raising the tax levy next year to cover the payment for it. So your vote doesn't end here. You also should be expected to vote for the levy increase next year to cover the payment of the bonds. I'm not willing to do that, so therefore I won't be supporting this particular bond issue. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
In light of that conversation, no.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
No.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
No.
Alderman Bolton.
No.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Last one, Mayor, item F, motion to approve an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $18 million first lien water and sewer system revenue bonds for the city of Waukegan, Lake County, Illinois. The proceeds of the 2018 C. Charles bonds will be used for financing capital improvements, including the stormwater management system, wastewater collection system, water distribution system, and the water plant, and the purchase of water and wastewater equipment and vehicles. This is another bond issuance, just like the first one, where what we're doing is we're taking the excess money out of the water fund and paying for the bonds. This will not go on the tax bill. And the committee voted yes, and I so move, sir.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Bolton. Are there any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
No.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Motion passed and carried.
Last one, sir, item G, a motion to approve a resolution accepting a grant from the Illinois Housing Development Authority Abandoned Residential Property Municipal Relief Fund. This is round number 3 grant allowing for up to $250,000 in reimbursable costs, subject to terms and conditions set forth in a grant agreement associated with the demolition of abandoned properties. Committee voted to bring it forward, and I so move, sir.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Tempest. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
That's all, sir.
Thank you. Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Item A, motion to authorize the proper city officials to approve a blanket purchase authority with McDonald Mechanical for fiscal year 2018-2019 with pricing provided under the joint purchasing program with Lake County, Illinois per section 2-458 subsection I-3 for an amount not to exceed $35,000. Funds will be charged to multiple line items, and I so move.
A motion by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman Valco. Correction. Second by Alderman Seeger. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Item B, motion to authorize the proper city officials to waive the bid procedure as a good faith waiver per section 2-458 subsection I-7 and allow the Public Works Department to continue its current fuel purchasing practices. Public Works seeks out the lowest price from 3 vendors at the time of needed delivery. Public Works also has an account with Olson Oil so that the police department and other entities and departments can fuel during hours that Public Works is not open, or if there's any problems with fuel, the fuel pumps at Public Works, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman Bolton. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Item C, motion to authorize the proper city officials for retroactive approval for repairs in excess of $20,000 for the sewer department's Vector truck with Jet Vac Environmental of Dixon, Illinois, per section 2-458 subsection I-5 for an amount not to exceed $38,448. Funds will be charged to line item 555-9160-26494, and I so move. And the cost of a new tank would have cost $66,000, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman May. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Item D, motion to authorize the proper city officials to award the 2018 annual leachate pumping bid to the sole qualified bidder, Covanta Environmental Solutions, LLC of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, for an amount not to exceed $41,000. Funds will be charged to line item 555-9160-24505, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman Tempest. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Item E, motion to authorize the proper city officials to enter into a contract with Frank J. Ferlin, PELS, as a consulting civil engineer for professional services per section 2-458, subsection I-4, for an amount not to exceed $85 per hour as needed, and at a not to exceed amount of $80,000. Funds will be charged to line item 100-91012-4435, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Newsome, second by Alderman Villalobos. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Very happy to have.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
All right, item 10. Thank you, Alderman. And thank you, Council, for this large step to bridging the gap of the past to the present for the future. Not tonight, I heard many ahs and ums about what's going on. I heard that this is not what we need to do today, right now in Waukegan. We're not investing in Waukegan. Let's do it at a slower pace. I've been hearing that for the last 50 years in our city. I've been hearing, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Nothing is to be done. We have a capital improvement plan. I've visited every mayor that I've visited. The first thing they give me, their capital improvement plan. This is the first capital improvement plan that has been laid out in the city of Waukegan in 18 years as an alderman. How do you think that other communities have been able to bring their community to a place where people want to go and live? They invest in it. I hear tonight, our taxes are going to be raised, our taxes are going to be raised, our taxes are going to be raised. What about the investment into this community? Who's going to invest? When we were out there on Route 43, we bonded out there. We invested in there. Walmart. Lakehurst is the past for me. Today is Fountain Square. That didn't come because of a 4% or a 2%. That came because of bonding. That is invested in Waukegan, the inner city of Waukegan. How many of you ride around in this community in the inner city of Waukegan that is east of Green Bay Road? How much have we truly invested in this community? Now that Waukegan wants to invest, it's the wrong thing to do. It was right for Gurnee. It was right for Libertyville. It was right for Lake Forest. But it's not right for Waukegan? When is going to be the time? Another 20 years? We have to stop thinking about and investing in this community. You want to blame somebody? Blame me. Blame me. I don't care. I lived on the south side of Waukegan many years when we didn't have any money. Those roads weren't done if my entire life living over there. But I was wrong. The entire city of Waukegan was not being taken care of. Now you can wait another 4 years. You can wait till enough money get in there. Let's be honest. A 3-year road program over 2 or 3 years, that's not invested in our community. We did River Road with bond money. We put sewers out there with bond money. We invested in that community. We invested right there on 43, North Point. We invested. Those investments are going to pay off. I'm tired of being scared because you're going to tell the people your taxes are going up. When that pothole, the young man said today on Stewart Avenue, he has never seen the curb repaired. That's an embarrassment to me, to the aldermen, and to the citizens. I'm willing to invest in my community, just like people invested in me. There were some folks who said, don't invest in Sam Cunningham. They were wrong, and we must be right about Waukegan. I am not afraid to come up here and tell you that this city is crumbling. Someone told us it's going to cost us $500 million. Then they laid out the exact things that was wrong. When is the time? When do we start? Another 4 years gonna pass, we're gonna say the same thing. Another 4 years, that's 8, we're gonna say the same thing. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of talking about people and not investing in this community. When we were out on River Road, and there was a project that nobody liked, particularly the incoming alderman, who stood up? Because it wasn't right for that area. I did. And the rest of the aldermen did. Now we're going to go and invest east of Green Bay Road, and you say nothing? You scared the people that it is going to be your taxes, your taxes, your taxes. I'm going to invest in this community. I believe in this community because it believed in me, and this is the time. We found mechanisms to do it, and I'm going to be passionate about it. This is the mayor that you have today. It is time that we stop putting Waukegan on the back burner, put it on the front burner. We're the 9th largest city in the state of Illinois, the county seat, the most diverse community on the North Shore. But we'll treat it, and we treat ourselves sometimes. That's not why I'm here. I believe in it, I believe in this program, and my job now is to manage it properly. And that I will. Without passion or prejudice, I will.
Mayor, can I say something?
Alderman Taylor.
First off, I don't know how the audience is feeling, but it's awful loud up here. I know you're passionate, and I appreciate that.
That's the passion that you get.
No.
Appreciate it or not, that's where I'm at today.
Since you brought up a couple things, I agree and disagree with you on a lot of these issues. You yourself have made statements in the past about being sorry that we bonded for things like the Genesee Theater. I think that there are times to bond and there are times not to bond. I just feel like right now our debt is coming down. Now is the time that we have a chance, for the first time in a long time, to really change always sending things out. It's not that I don't want to reinvest or that I'm only interested in one side of the city. That's not true. I know you have said that you rejected the, I assume you're talking about the River Glen development, but on the final vote, when we had the chance to say no to the final plat, Mayor, you did vote for it.
I voted with you, Alderman, period.
You voted for what?
I voted with you. You led the way on that charge, Alderman. When you became a mayor, when you became an alderman, you led the way, Mayor. I mean,
yes, and
Alderman
we had a chance at the end with the final plat where it was 3-6 against approving it, and that's when Mayor Motley had a fit and said, Mr. Christensen, you have been screwed, and then suddenly the vote flipped. So the final plat was something that we did approve.
Again, you're talking about your ward. Let's talk about the city of Waukegan.
I'm fine with the city of Waukegan.
Well, let's go then. Talk.
I want to see improvement in this city.
Well, talk. Act like it. Act like it, Ann.
Excuse me. I am acting like it.
Okay.
She's talking. Quiet. Nobody interrupted you.
I agree, sir.
I have spent a lot of time going through the finances, trying to sort out how we can make the city better. This is my opinion. You guys all have different opinions, but Mayor, please don't think that it's okay. You had different opinions than Mayor Motley, and you wanted to be heard. I have a different opinion of how I want things done, and as a woman leader in this city, I have the right to vote that.
What they got to do with it? You an alderman.
Okay, I'm an alderman, but I have that right. So, you know, that's all I'm going to say about the issue, Mayor. You can address it the way you want, but please do not make out that I am not pro-Waukegan, because I work in my ward like you wouldn't believe, and I'm sorry if that's not enough for you, but I defend what I do every single day. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. And you know what? You're absolutely right. I should have allowed her to speak and not overtalk her. That was wrong. I apologize for that.
Thank you, Mayor.
You know? All right. So that right there is understanding. But, you know, you mentioned that you had your assessment. we've put our hands in, we put this city in how this finance goes in the hands of a person with over 40 years of municipal bonding experience. Certified, independent public municipal advisor on the National Association of Municipal Advisors, qualified municipal, I mean, here's a guy, and I'm not knocking you what you're saying, but here's a person who has the experience. He knows what he's doing. I mean, I guess
that's great. And my feeling is, I look at things big picture. I feel that this is a marathon, not a sprint. I want to make sure that we're there for the long haul and not just for that small period that we can do things. And that, sure, they make the city look a whole lot better. And like I said, I'm so pro that. Who doesn't want capital improvements in this city? We've all waited a very long time for it. I'm just trying to think outside the box a little bit and see things from a different perspective. And that's all. We've made the decision. We need to move on.
I agree with you. We do need to move on. But I think we need to move on together. That's my hope and my prayer. And I trust that you will come in line at least to see the other side of the coin when it comes to investing in this community. Thank you, Alderman. And again, the apology goes for over-talking you. That was not a professional nor manly-like. Okay?
Thank you. I accept
Absolutely. All right. Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Tempest, to approve vendor payments dated May 21st, 2018, in total amount of $879,259.72. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
The motion is passed and carried. Item B, motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Bolton, to approve regular payroll dated May 11, 2018, a total amount of $1,483,268,007. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Motion is passed and carried. Motion by Alderman Seager, second by Alderman Mozio, to approve elected officials' monthly expense account payroll dated May 11, 2018, a total amount of $7,441.66. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest. Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Motion is passed and carried. Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman May, to approve sick payout balance owed payroll dated May 11, 2018, in a total amount of $11,535.71. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Motion by Alderman Mozio, second by Alderman Villalobos, to approve Waukegan firefighters' request to hold a fundraiser, Fill the Boot, for the muscular dystrophy puppies May 25th through May 28th on 2018. Any questions to the motion? Of course, no, that's not. I'm sorry. June 8th, June 8th, 2018, at the intersection of Grand and Green Bay Road from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And again, it was the firefighters' request to fill the boot for the Muscular Dystrophy Association on June 8th, 2018, at the intersection of Grand and Green Bay Road from 9:30 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Motion passed and carried. Item F, motion by Alderman Villalobos, second by Alderman Newsom, to grant permission for the Home of Danger Post 281 of the American Legion for their annual distribution of poppies, May 25th through May 28th, 2018. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest. Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Motion is passed and carried. Item G, a motion by Alderman Tempest, second by Alderman May, to approve outdoor special events. The sponsor has applied under the directive of non-city government use of city-owned buildings and venues. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest. Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Motion is passed and carried. Let's do B and C, and then we need to wait?
Well, we need to do A first.
Okay, all right. Motion by Alderman May, second by Alderman Valco, to go into closed section to discuss sale of property pursuant to 5 ILCS 120-2, C, and 6. Any questions? All right, shouldn't take that long. Everybody, ready? All to approve?
Aye.
All right, sorry.
Aye.
Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Bolton, to reconvene the council meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion's passed. Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Tempest, to approve or reject ordinance accepting a bid and authorizing sale of certain property to GWDC as required by 65 ILCS 5-11-72-2. Accepting the bid and approving the sale of the property requires the affirmative vote of a 3/4 majority of the corporate authorities, meaning the aldermen. Are there any questions?
The motion needs to say either approve or reject. Make a choice.
Okay.
Do we need to make a motion, do I need to make a motion to reject the offer? Is that- I'll make it. Motion to reject the offer.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Taylor, to reject draft orders, accept a bid and authorize the sale of property to GWDC as required by 65 ILCS. I don't have to go through all that again, all right? That's correct? All right. Any questions to that motion? Roll call, please.
And I is to reject it.
That is correct.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Abstain.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor. Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
The motion is passed and carried to reject the draft ordinance accepting the bid. All right? Motion by Alderman Tempest, second by Alderman Villalobos, to approve resolution authorizing the purchase of 1701. I'm gonna correct that. Motion by Alderman May, second by Alderman Tempest, to approve resolution authorizing the purchase of 1701 Circle Court. City Council approved this purchase back by motion in January 16, 2018, but the city title insurer has requested that the purchase be ratified by formal resolution. Simply put, we've really acted on this already, but the title company needs a resolution for their files.
Yep.
Everybody's clear? Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Mozio.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor. Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Motion is passed and carried. Item 13, closing items. Alderman's time. Madam Clerk.
Alderman Mozio.
Yeah, I don't always respond to audience time. Brother Blanks, I think you would know my reputation. You can ask the thousands and thousands of students that I've taught that I care about every one of them. And maybe this lady does not understand that, but I just had a 20-minute conversation with Dr. Shipley about the situation of education in Waukegan. So to think that I don't care about the kids is just not true. Or, did I talk when you talked?
Well, you addressing me, so
Well,
keep it gentle.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Villalobos.
Yes, a couple things I just want to speak upon. Number one, the bonds votes. Clearly, you're stuck in between a rock and a hard place in the situation there. Because for one, me personally, I never liked the idea of going into debt. But number two, we do have to invest in our community for infrastructure. So it's a tough vote. Obviously, for me, I voted 2 yeses and 1 no. So I'm still struggling with that decision-making process on my end. But at the end of the day, I do want to see Waukegan in a better place. So I'm pretty sure some residents will be for it, some will be against it. It's just, it is where we're at. So I look forward to talking to anyone who wants to talk to me about that. Secondly, I want to thank a resident of the 4th Ward, Raul Alvarez. He was actually in the audience earlier. He's taken off now, but he gave me a call on Thursday, and one of the businesses in Waukegan unwittingly signed an agreement to do booting on their property. And so he brought it to my attention, and I spoke to the gentleman and told him that this was something that's not viable in Waukegan, considering we had passed an ordinance about 2 years ago causing that practice to cease. So I want to thank him for being heads up and letting me be informed. And again, these are the little situations that occur that residents can help us out as elected officials to let us be aware of things. Had he not called me that day, which was the first day they were starting to do that practice, there could have been easily a week or 2 or maybe longer that would have been going on, and residents would have been having to pay out of pocket to get a boot off their vehicle. So I thank him for that, and thank him for calling me and letting me aware of it so I can put a stop to it. Third, I want to bring up Art Walk that just passed, the Star Walk. Another fun art walk this year. It was nice to see the Urban Edge open. I've talked to many residents, and they've always been questioning when the Urban Edge went dark, what was going on with it. I had no response to it, honestly, because I wasn't aware. But as a resident who participates in Art Walk regularly, I see our Urban Edge as like a linchpin site for Art Walk. And they participated by having high school students bring in their artwork, which is masks that were covered. And the idea was the mask was your face, and the exterior was what people see and think of you. But inside the mask, and the interior of it was actually who you see yourself to be. So students use imagery and words to describe that, what people see them to be and who they see themselves to be. So I thought it was a fun exhibit to witness and look at and see what people think of themselves. Again, very, very much talented students in Waukegan. But again, it was nice to see Urban Edge open, doors open, receiving people. Last but not least, I do want to speak about Jamie O'Mara. I did have the privilege to know her for about 7 years or so, approximately. And she was definitely one of those staples in Waukegan. When I went to community events, she was there. She will be missed. And so for her friends and family that are out there, my heart goes to you, my condolences. She was a great person to know and learn from. That's all. Thank you.
Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest. Alderman May.
Thank you. I'd like to also acknowledge the passing of my good friend, but I can't say too much because I can't keep it together yet. But Jamie, we will all miss you. Miss Leslie Henry, thank you for coming back to City Council this evening. I was not at the last meeting, and unfortunately, because of a family situation, I've been out of town for almost 3 weeks, and I'm a little out of the loop. I'm also a substitute teacher in Waukegan schools. I substitute a lot less these days because our schools seem to be a little bit out of control. I don't know the specific situation with your grandson. I too am concerned about young people having a criminal record at such a young age. I think maybe this is something that we need to talk about with the state's attorney or the judicial system when someone is in getting charged with a misdemeanor or a felony before they're 18. If there's a path to redemption, there's a path to expunging our record, maybe we need to think about those kind of things for these young adults in our community that are getting in trouble. I've been forwarded probably 4 or 5 different videos of fights at the high school since that incident. I watched a young man getting his head stomped on a YouTube video out there for everyone to see. I've been told to F off in middle schools and high schools as a teacher and as a leader in this community. I don't know what the answer is. My heart does go out to these children. I've been in the schools for 7 years now. I am offended that if anyone out there thinks that it's a race thing, like a white person didn't say something because it's a black child. That is absolutely not the case. That is absolutely not the case. So I don't know what the solution is. I do know that you have a lot of concerned people up here. Brother Blanks, you know, I'm not afraid to come into your place over on the south side. I'll go anywhere in this city. I don't see color in that way. So I hope that we can work together. I would like to see a better path for our young people who find themselves in criminal issues or legal issues before they're even out of high school. And so I'm also willing to be a part of the solution. You're welcome. I wanted to give a little shout out to David Patterson, our deputy clerk. People harass a lot about open information and freedom of information in this city, and I watched David go above and beyond this week with one of my residents, actually looking up his phone number and reaching out to him to try to educate him on how to look up information on our board doc system. He didn't have to do this, but he saw a comment on social media, and he took it further and further and further as far as looking up this guy's phone number and calling him on the phone and trying to educate him. So I really appreciate your willingness to go above and beyond. I recognize your commitment to your position, and so thank you very much for that. Water bonds, that was the only bond that I voted for this evening, and that's because there's a solid method of repayment for those water bonds. And I understand our city needs infrastructure improvement, and I love Waukegan. I've lived here my whole life. I didn't leave. My husband teaches in the Waukegan schools. So my vote against 2 of the bond issues is not against Waukegan. And I take issue with being bullied up here on the dais. That's not appropriate. We are not always going to all agree, and that's okay. I've seen you, Mayor, up here disagree with other mayors, and that's okay. You got your votes. You got the issue passed. The rant that you went on after all the votes were passed, you got all your bonds. Your plan is going to move forward, so congratulations to you. And I hope that it's very successful. And I hope the residents, I hope that their taxes aren't going to be, our residents aren't going to be overburdened with taxes. And I hope that there isn't a mass exodus out of the city. I want to stay here. I'm still here. My parents are still here. But I'm a little concerned about the aggressive nature of the financing plan. And I'm just a little bit more conservative when it comes to finances. And so I would take things a little bit slower. I voted for the water bond. I see where the money's going to come from to pay it. And that's fine with me. I'm not comfortable with the other ones, and so I didn't vote for it. I've heard you complain about the Fountain Square bonds, about the Genesee Theater bonds. We are just coming out of that. A lot of you were up here and voted for those bonds. A lot of you were up here, voted for Fountain Square, and you voted for the Genesee Theater. And we're just getting out of that. The Genesee Theater, did it bring the big economic boom?
they're finally doing great. I would say the current management is doing a bang-up job with the Genesee Theater, but it took a long time. So I'm just cautious when it comes to finances. Our city, people are still hurting. We're just recovering. Most of the country has been recovered. We're just getting there. So I don't appreciate the rant and the bullying.
Ma'am, that's a very serious word. I don't bully anybody. I don't try to. That's never my intent. So please, I'm not trying to bully you.
That's fine.
Okay.
I encourage you to watch the city council meeting at a later date, and then then tell me what you think.
Yes, ma'am.
So I wish you the best of luck. I wish the city, I wish all of us the best of luck as we move forward. We're not always going to agree up here, but we got to agree to move forward. And I will be back here in 2 weeks with a fresh perspective, and we'll move forward. That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am.
Alderman Velco.
There was a lot of discussion when we were having the 3.75 tax increase on how much the taxes would go up. And I got my tax bill, and my tax bill in total went up $330. But the Waukegan portion of my tax bill went down $75. And it was all for the schools and partly because of the county, but mostly because of the schools. One speaker came here tonight, 69%. I believe it's right around 62 to 64%. I had one guy walking down the street with his dog. And he says, "Hey, Valco, got my tax bill." Okay. How much did it go up? Went down $600. He lives in my neighborhood. Got somebody else that called me irritated. "Valco, I just got my tax bill." Okay. "Where do you live?" And he told me he's east of Green Bay Road. My ward is in the actually three. But it is in, the next township over is in Waukegan Township in a different school system. So he tells me what it is. I said, okay, fourth line down, how much did your Waukegan tax bill go up? "Oh, $60. I said, okay, now drop down a couple of lines and see how much the school districts went up. And he started laughing. I said, "What's so funny?" "I'm hanging up on you, Valco. I'm a teacher." He says, "I can't complain anymore." Okay? Because the schools were taking most of the money. So, not that I was correct, but a lot of these aldermen up here had the foresight to not believe a lot of the stuff that was going to come out and say all our total taxes were going to go up. Did some of them go up? Absolutely. All right? But almost $300 out of 11.5 tax bill isn't that much. I don't know, sir, what how much yours went up compared to on Southern, or excuse me, not Southern Hills, but down on River Road where you live. But I'm sure they went up. So we did okay. I'm happy to see that a lot of the tax bills didn't go up drastically. And I hope it put a lot of ease into some of the people who had called me previously and then called me afterwards about how much their tax bills did not go up, especially their Waukegan portion, which is the big thing. That's all I have. Thank you.
Alderman Taylor. I'm going to try and get through this. I want to express my condolences to Jamie's friends and family. Jamie was a person that not only had a kind heart, she was principled, she had great morals, but most of all, Jamie lit up a room when she walked in. You knew she was here. You didn't necessarily have to see her, she just had that vibrance about her. She will be sorely missed. I know she's with the angels. We've lost a lot of great people lately in Waukegan, and I think as aldermen, we're all struggling. I do want to clarify, I too care about all our children. I will be more than happy to sit down with you. That has never been an issue for me. So I will talk to you after City Council. I just want to make clear that it kind of came over tonight that I only represent one part of my ward, and let me make perfectly clear, there could be nothing further from the truth. Most of my calls and things that I deal with in my ward are not by where I live. And I want to make sure that people understand that I represent all of the people and care about all of the people of this city. Race, sex, your orientation, none of that matters to me. And let me make that perfectly clear right now. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Alderman Bolton.
Well, I'd like to answer to why my position, why I voted the way I did. I'm definitely for the vision and perspective of this city, improvement, and its vision. But I voted the way I did because I'm concerned, just like you, about tax increase. So maybe I stand to be corrected, but that's why I voted the way I did.
Alderman Seager.
Good evening. I too voted for this. I guess when people hear the word tax increase and they want to run, well, take a look around this town, a good look. We've got to start somewhere. Now, I actually watch traffic all the time. No, I'm out there. Look at how many trucks, cars, pickups, vehicles cut through this town. Go down 120, around 5 o'clock. Washington Street, Grand Avenue. How about Lewis Avenue? Thank you. Sunset Avenue. We got to get these roads put back together. Our infrastructure is #1. That's about it. And thank you all for being here tonight. And have a good evening. Thank you.
Mayor, that concludes.
Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman May to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Motion is passed and carried. Thank you.